Hello everyone. I'm doing something a little bit different. I don't know if many of you know this, but recently I dislocated my left kneecap, which wasn't fun. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of an embarrassing story about how it happened. So I want you to cast your minds back to the 31st of March 2026. It was a beautiful day. The birds were singing, the sky was clear, everyone was outside. And usually I would be outside. And usually I go for a walk during the day, maybe around mid-afternoon. So before I went for a walk, I decided to go into my bathroom because, a man needs to do his business at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So I finished doing all of that, and I then started brushing my teeth because I hadn't brushed them that day, so I thought, you know what, I'll just get it out of the way now. And as I was brushing my teeth, I remembered a really old, dance thing. I can't remember where it was from exactly, but I started dancing, and this dance included being crouched, swinging your knees side to side. Just putting it out there, never, ever do this, because it can lead to a disastrous consequence. So as I was swinging my knees side to side, I felt my left kneecap pop out. And I mean, this thing was in a different postcode. This thing was gone. I have never felt anything like it, and I've never felt or even really heard anything like the pop when it happened, because it was such a deep, visceral pop that I didn't even realise what had happened until a couple of seconds later when I just started screaming for my mum. Because, obviously when you're in that situation, it doesn't matter how old you are, you still want your mum there for you. And, so I was in the bathroom when it happened, and I had the door shut, so I had to limp on a knee that weren't really there, to be honest. And I had to limp to the bathroom door and open it when it obviously, and then I fell onto the floor face first, and I was stuck on my front because even the slightest amount of movement trying to get me to turn over was agony. I mean, it was like if you get a million white hot needles and you poke them in your quads, I think they're called. I'm not really good on the muscle group, someone correct me in the comment section down below. But it was like all of my thigh muscles had just gone into the worst cramp I've ever had, and I couldn't move my leg at all. I can't really remember much of it, to be honest, because I think I went into shock a little bit because of it. Well, I mean, anyone would. When you have an injury like that, you do naturally go into shock. But I do remember having to keep my mum calm, because my mum is absolutely awful with any type of bodily injuries. So her first reaction was, "Oh yeah, my son's injured. I've got to run to the bathroom. Run!" Yeah, it was. I had to keep her calm because I knew if I didn't, I would then not be calm and I'd freak out and probably end up injuring myself more. And I called my dad and I called my stepdad. They both came back, and they came back, and then an ambulance was called before this. Now, this is the part of the story that I want to emphasize how ridiculous it actually is. So I dislocated my kneecap probably around 3:30 on the 31st of March. And I was on my floor waiting for nearly 3 hours. 3 hours of absolute blinding agony, leg cramps to the point where I couldn't control my leg. To the point where I was actually nearly screaming in agony because there was nothing I could do. You can't put a dislocated kneecap back in by itself. And you can't, because you could end up damaging the ligament around it, which obviously you don't want to happen. But the 3-hour wait was, I genuinely think, the worst part of that entire ordeal, because I just felt so hopeless because I didn't know if anyone was actually coming or not. And if any of you have ever been in a similar situation, you know how terrifying it is to feel that hopeless, knowing you can't do anything to better your own condition because you're waiting on people who aren't coming yet. And I remember when we got a phone call back off the 999, and what's it called? And they said, "Oh, can you triage it at home?" No! My kneecap was in a different postcode! What do you mean, can I triage it at home? No! Anyway, I got, upped to a priority 1, I think, and then my dad tried to take my shoe off, and the poor bloke, I nearly ended up booting him in the head because my legs were having such uncontrollable spasms. that I couldn't do anything about it. And it was honestly, in reality, it was quite scary because you don't know, or in that time when you're on the floor and you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know if you are ever going to like walk again or anything. Are you serious? I've just recorded this whole thing and the desktop audio's been on actually fucking